What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Cool Fred's Garage. So I'm still working on this 1978 Chevy Malibu Classic. Um, so today I'm gonna talk about a few things. I got to do a little bit of wiring. Got to get into uh, getting the gauges installed and stuff like that. So I'm gonna show you guys what we got going. But we're getting closer and closer to getting this thing up and running. Just got a few more loose ends to tie up. All right, so pretty much today, I'm about to start doing some wiring. So one of the things we got is the Big 3 kit, which is basically it's all zero gauge. It's basically upgrading your alternator wire from the alternator to the battery, and from basically the engine block to the ground, and then your ground wire, that connection at the battery. So that's generally those three connections. One of the things I normally recommend, especially on a lot of these newer alternators or a lot of these performance alternators, or just in general, 'cause a lot of times I just kind of notice different stuff, especially like when he doesn't have any aftermarket gauges, but like when you start putting the coded digital and stuff like that in there, sometimes you have problems with charging, because a lot of these alternators are one wire alternators, but the main thing, you do have to ground them. But the other thing, y'all probably heard me talk about this in maybe a few of my other videos, but the other thing is your a chassis ground. So a lot of times, most engine setups, they just have a ground wire that's going to here to maybe the cylinder head or the engine block, but you also need a third ground from the engine block to the chassis of the car. So a lot of times you have a smaller ground wire that goes like to the body of the car, but for some reason a lot of my alternator problems got fixed by adding that additional wire from the engine block to the chassis of the car. So what I kind of mean by that, though, like on the blue Chevy, you like early on, because it had one of those older style alternator systems back from the early 70s. So there, like, after I want to say Dakota digital gauges and a combination of other stuff. I had like a ignition box and a few other things, but I kept killing the voltage regulators in the alternator, and pretty much the only thing that fixed it was going to that additional ground. Now, it really didn't matter so much with the CS130 style alternators, but I still ground them. So this one's gonna get grounded right here, but for some reason that connection from the engine block to the chassis, you know what I'm saying, that right there has fixed a lot of the charging system problems, and I noticed I wasn't killing any voltage regulators anymore. So every now and again on Cool Fred's Garage, I might share a tip of one of my experiences, and you guys may get something out of it. So, all right, so pretty much what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be a hot wire ran from over here to the battery connection that's straight to the alternator. Then I got another one right here, and I got stuff all over the place. But before I just got a few more things to do before I start like connecting spark plug wires and all that. So pretty much this engine is just it's pretty much just ready to run. It's just I just got a few. Of course, I got the radiator stuff sitting over there. But what I was getting at a second ago, so it's gonna be power wired from here to the alternator. So that's gonna be that zero gauge kit that's over there. So that's gonna basically handle all of the charging load, and the battery. The alternator is gonna directly charge the battery, versus it having to go through one of these thinner wires, one of these smaller wires right here, which is probably, I'm not sure if that's 10 gauge, that's probably 12 gauge. So that's a 160 amp alternator, and all that charge going through there is kind of just like, you know, a lot of it's gonna get wasted, or it's gonna overheat that wire. So we're gonna be going. This right here is a negative connection. I didn't really get a chance to go into depth on the parts over there, which I'm about to in a little bit. But we got one of these universal battery terminal. So that right there is gonna be the ground. That's gonna be the ground terminal. Then we got another one over there on the table for the positive terminal. And then pretty much what I came over here to point out before I started talking about that other stuff was this right here. So this right here is our starter wire, which is gonna go. I'm gonna cut this end off, and it's gonna go into that positive cable over there, and it's got multiple ends like this, where you can hook most of the cables up. So you can do, I think it's like 0-2 gauge or whatever, 0-2 or 4 gauge. So this thing is pretty versatile. It's got the little. So most likely for one of these wire, for the starter wire, I have to use one of these little bushings. But those little gold things, they kind of come out, then let you get different wire sizes. All right, so this is pretty much what we get in this big 3 kit here. So it comes with connections and all of that, and a couple ends. I think I took a couple ends out of the box already. But some of these already have a terminal end right there, and just wherever you decide to cut it at. Let me see. I'm gonna get this actually out of the box so we can take a look at it. All right, so in this kit right here, you get 2 of these ground wires that are 4 feet. So you pretty much got room to route them pretty much anywhere you want to. So I've already kind of set this one in here. I'm trying to debate whether I should change this terminal end to an eyelet best, but I just have to get that tight, and then I'm just gonna secure it with a few brackets. And then over here, this is just gonna get put directly into the battery cable in, which I got right here. So that's pretty much simple to run. I will have to do a little crimping for some of this stuff, but for like the ground wires, but the hot cable is pretty much pre-terminated. I would like to try to change this end to a smaller end for now, but I may just keep it like this, just as long as it's making good contact over here. I just got to make sure I get it secured so it's not doing a lot of shifting around. When I explained to the customer about doing the chassis ground, so basically I was just telling them, like, hey, you need like some like additional, like a 2 gauge cable. It could be this thick. This right here is like, I think this is 4 gauge, but it would just be a short cable that would go from, I'm gonna tap a hole right here in the frame, put some threads in it so you can secure it with a bolt. They go from there to there, and here's pretty much, you know, because he's trying to find, I guess, a kit that had the alternator cable and this in there. So later on down the line, I'm not sure if he plans on upgrading either the alternator. Okay, I want to say he plans on running a sound system later on down the line. So so he's pretty much already getting prepped for it. But that's I mean, that's good as far as, you know, going ahead and getting that knocked out of the way. So he's going on and getting this upgrade out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on kind of securing this cable and making it nice and neat. I'm not gonna be using this right here for nothing, so maybe one of the clamps can kind of go right here to kind of secure this so it's not flopping all over the place. All right, so what I'm up to now is just pretty much, I got it snug on the alternator. I figured that's where I want to put it at. I probably will have to disconnect it when I get ready to put my couple little ground wires on here. So pretty much what I'm up to now is just kind of running this. I did figure that I'm gonna attach like one of those little rubber clamps right there to kind of secure it. That way it's not flopping around all over the place. So, but what I'm working on right now is the ground wire. So I got that attached right there on the cylinder head, and so this one's gonna go to the battery. So I pretty much mapped out where it's gonna go. I've already kind of like, you know, shaved that down. So basically what I did, I got like I got a Sharpie. So I pretty much kind of marked where I need to. So basically that's basically gonna pull off with the rubber, and I'm gonna cut the wire right there. So that way, you know, I'll have a little bit sticking out to put in there. So what I'm using to cut these things is these little wire cutters right there. So you can cut up the 0 gauge with that. This right here is the clamp, the bushing clamp, or like rubber isolator, whatever you want to call it, that I'm working on. So I'm gonna have to, hopefully, it's a little thin piece of aluminum, so hopefully I can drill it out. I did that in the past, so pretty much I'm just having to open these holes up here so I can kind of get a bolt to slide down in there. So that's pretty much what I'm working on. So that's why I got it over here in the vise. So I'm gonna use a step drill bit. I got a step drill bit over here somewhere. I gotta find it. So I'm gonna use a step drill bit to hopefully open that up. So this is one right here, but I may need a bigger one than this one. Actually, I can use that one. So I'm gonna use that, open those holes up so I can have something to kind of secure that positive line, so it's just not flopping all over the place. Because the thing is, I don't want a lot of vibrations to kind of like move this, because this has a big, like under it, I put a washer right there, but under there, it's kind of, you know, if it gets to moving around due to vibration, it can, you know, cause the car not to charge, or it can accidentally touch something else and make a spark. So I'm trying to make sure that it's nice and secure so that don't happen. So so pretty much right now, this style alternator right here is the CS130 GM. So this is the one that came in the CVF kit, 1-wire alternator. So pretty much all you got to do is just hook the power wire and the ground up, and once you start the engine and it starts spinning, it's supposed to start charging from there. But a lot of the high performance alternators, like the McMahon and all of that, I'm not sure which one the customer is gonna go with, but CVF, the maker of this belt kit, they do support using a McMahon alternator on this bracket system. So those alternators have like the bigger posts with the thicker bolt. So that's probably why that eyelet is so big, because that's kind of a popular like upgrade to go to. But pretty much just doing this upgrade now so he doesn't have to do it later, and it's also gonna give us power supply, you know, to charge the battery. And we fixing the main problems with getting the better ground connections to the engine. And then after I get this one kind of sorted out, so I'm gonna cut this wire with these pliers here, and that's gonna give me enough to go in there, and I'll be able to get that connected up. So after I get this one, the second ground wire is gonna go pretty much at this connection, but it's gonna go to the frame. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit. All right, so over here I got the ground wire in the new terminal. So also I'm gonna take care of this connection right here. So I'm basically removing the old ground wire, and you can kind of tell like how much beefier this 1 gauge is versus this right here is probably 4 gauge, six or 4, something like that. But also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of get the connection going to the body right here. So I'm gonna run a 10 gauge wire from here to right here. This right here is the wire for the ground side, like the electric fans. Actually, I can wire up a whole bunch of stuff with this, but this right here is some 10 gauge wire, so it's a little bit thicker than what's right there. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece, and I'm gonna match the end close to that end that's on there. All right, so I got my heat shrink. I got my crimper set here, so this helps me make a lot of my connections. And then I've got like so I got a lot of these like ring terminals and stuff like that, so I can easily match it up. So this right here covers most of your small, medium, and large wire up to 10 gauge. So this kind of helped me, you know, projects like this. So I normally get this stuff like off Amazon, eBay, or whatever, and when I have a project, I can easily just grab this set and pick something out of here, and I can easily you know get a wire or something fixed up or made. So believe it or not, like, you know, just running back and forth down to the parts store and buying like the little ones with the 4 or 5 in there, you go through that stuff real fast. So when you're really building something, you got lots of wires to run, ground connections to make and stuff like that. You'll run through this stuff real quick. So it's good to buy it in bulk, buy a bigger one. And plus it's a little bit cheaper when you buy it like that anyway. So this right here is the wire that I just made. So having your own crimp tool, your wire crimper, and a heat gun. I got a heat gun down there, nothing fancy, from Harbor Freight. I've been using that one for over 5 years, so you don't really need a whole lot of fancy stuff. But get you a good set of crimpers, some wire cutters. So I got this style here wire cutter, and I also got one of these right here. So all that right there can help you to make your own wire. So basically I can make any wire, any size, put whatever ends I want to on there. So that gives you a lot of flexibility when you're doing a project, car. So, but this right here is gonna go in that battery terminal end on that end there, and then it's gonna go to the body. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that over here and connect it up, and we're gonna see what it looks like. So this is what I've been up to. So the power wire, got that secured right there, right here at the AC compressor. I just used one of those zip ties. That's pretty much, you know, what I could, the easiest thing I could kind of come up with to kind of keep it secure. And I kind of secured it right there. The kit comes with these kind of retaining clamps and these self-tapping screws. So the reason I ran it like that, the AC compressor manifold is going to go in there, so I just test fitted that to make sure that's going to fit in there, and this zip tie is not going to interfere with it. But I'm not sure exactly how they plan on running the AC lines. But so I tried to leave him some flexibility just in case he needs to change something, so he can easily move that around or whatever. But for right now, I kind of got pretty much where that's going to go there. So this right here is the starter wire. So I went on and cut that sheathing and put that in there. So that's going to the starter right there. So this right here is going to be the alternator wire. So it's going to kind of tuck down a little bit, and then it's going to go in there. All right, so it's going to be running something like that, maybe a little cleaner, but it's going to be something like that, how it's going to run. I don't have it secured all the way in there. I think I was going to kind of do it something like this, but I just wanted to leave him a little bit of flexibility just in case, you know, he changes, you know, something, you know, a lot of times you change something to add something. I want to make sure that the cable is not too short, but I also want to make sure it's not too long. But he has flexibility. Like, let's say the alternator he gets, the power post, sometimes it could be more on the top, or sometimes it could be on the side, but there is some flexibility, and you can move it a couple inches this way, that way, or whatever. So so that's good for that. So this thing, I got the ground cable in here, over here. So I kind of know how it's gonna run. I wanted to kind of maybe run like this, but I kind of got it out of the way right now because I need to have some area right here. So I'm gonna try to use one of these existing holes to put some threads in it. I just gotta see what size drill bit I have to open it up. I want to say that this one over here is a little bit too big. I just have to see because I got a couple different size bolts. But I'd rather use the 3/8 bolt versus the what's that, the 7/16. So I'm gonna try to use the 3/8. That's what this side is going in the cylinder head there. So basically right there where the cylinder head is gonna be another wire that's gonna attach there. Third wire is gonna attach there, and it's gonna go right here to the ground. So that's gonna help just give us a better ground between the engine, the frame, and the body, everything like that. So that's that third ground attachment that I'm about to get installed. So I guess I'm gonna figure out, well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I need to grind out some of this rust, that way we have clean metal there. So I'm gonna figure out that. I'm gonna figure out the drill bit size and everything like that I gotta have. So based on what I figure out so far, I gotta use this smaller hole here. I just gotta figure out like what size drill bit I have to use for the tap that I want to run. And once I decide that, then it'll be smooth sailing from there. And I do have to crimp another end on. So I'm gonna show you guys what I got to do that with, and then the big 3 kit will be installed. All right, here we go. So I'm moving along. So I took a little bit of a break, and I came back and jumped on it. So pretty much like right now, I still got to go over there and clean that area up and make sure I'm getting a good ground to the frame. And pretty much what I'm doing now, I got my tap and die set out. So this is just a gear wrench tap and die set. That's the tool number right there if anybody is interested. But I've had this for probably 6 or 7 years. Gear wrench tap and die set. So basically, I measured the tread pitch of the bolt, and it's a 16. So this right here is a 3/8-16. So basically what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to figure out what I need to tap that hole. And another thing that you typically get, you'll normally get a drill bit chart. So I can go here and I can zoom in on my chart and figure out which one, which tap I'm trying to use, which is this 3/8 by 3/8-16, and it tell me I need a 5/16 drill bit. So a lot of times this is helpful because I know like what drill bit size I need for the hole, and then that makes it easy when you put the tap in. So that's pretty much how you make treads in the frame. So I just decided to talk about this because some of you guys that's doing the big 3 wire kit, you know, that's something that may come up. Most time, like you look online or you see a video, they're gonna be talking about, yeah, you need to upgrade the alternator wire, you know what I'm saying, and another wire, you upgrading the ground wire, then you're gonna put a wire from the you know, the body to the chassis. But depending on what kind of car you're working on, because I mean, it could be you'd be doing a big 3 kit on like a Nissan Maxima or anything, a Ford Taurus. I mean, there are so many different applications for the big 3 kit. It's a universal wire kit, so you pretty much cut and make your own wire. So everybody may not be working on a you know, more classic car or old school car like I'm working on, but the principle's still the same. But you know, you still may need to drill or tap into, you know, the frame or some kind of component that's metal. So they also make metric tap and die sets too. So you know, if you're dealing with metric bolts. But you know, I just wanted to just kind of bring that up. So I try to incorporate something technical in some of my videos, you know, something that somebody can learn from. So I mean, that's pretty much what I'm up to. Other than that, I just gotta so I kind of know what I'm dealing with. I'm gonna check my drill set because I have a let me just go ahead and pull it out. So I got a drill bit that I keep here at the house, and I got a more expensive drill bit set at work. But the set at work has more like in between drill bits in there. So I'm sure I got a 5/16 drill bit, but if I don't, then you know, I'll probably have to run out and go get one. All right, so this right here is my drill bit set that I keep here at home, keep in the garage. So I can kind of look through here and see if I got a 5/16, and I do got one. So it's one of the ones that's back in the back. So it looks like it's this one here. So pretty much I'll need this size hole. So I need to drill and open up that small hole that's in the frame to this size right here. And while I'm drilling, I normally use like either some WD-40 or some PB Blaster just to kind of keep, you know, the drill bit good. I actually got 2 bits in here just in case one doles out. I got an extra one. And then I can take my tap, which is this one right here, the 3/8-16. So it tell you the size down there on there. So I can take that and I can make treads. So what I like about this gear wrench set is it has like this right here ratchets. It's kind of like a gear wrench. So this adapter will go in here, and I can turn it this way or the other way. And once I put this in here, so I can get into tight spaces, I can just turn it just a little bit until I get the threads cut in the frame. So that's one reason I like this gear wrench set, because I have another gear wrench set at work, like an older Matco kit, and it's just a standard one. The tool for like cutting the tread, it's just fixed, so you actually have to turn it. But this right here is nice, because if you get in a tight space, you can just turn it just a little bit and go back, just like using the ratchet. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this knocked out and show you guys pretty much what I got, and then I need to crimp this wire on here. So I ordered a new tool to help me crimp, so I'll show you guys that, and then I'll see if that makes my life simpler or whatever, because I do have a crimper. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it on some of the other videos, but for crimping big wire. But we're gonna try out this new tool and see how it works out. All right, so I pretty much already drilled that hole and cleaned that up a little bit, so I'm getting a good surface ground. So now what I got my tap on this right here. So basically, I'm gonna get this in here, and then I can start kind of cutting. So I can start cutting the hole. So I'm gonna spray a little bit more WD-40 on there, and I'm gonna get those threads cut then. So next up, all I gotta do is measure out my wire from here to here, and then I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna crimp it at, where I'm gonna cut the wire. Then I'm gonna crimp the end on it, and then that's gonna be ready to go in. Alright, so I finished tapping that hole, and then I got my vacuum cleaner out, and I vacuumed up the debris and everything that was left over. So right now what I'm doing is test fitting this bolt. So I'm thinking like this frame, like the inner, because they kind of, it's basically like a box size put together. So I'm thinking it's between an 1/8 and 3/16 thick or something like that. But pretty much, as long as you got enough. Like, as long as you got enough where it'll catch 3 threads in there, you're pretty much good. So, so basically I'm screwing this in there and test fitting. So, you'll be able to get that really nice and tight. So, even from the factory on some of the stuff, they got self-tapping screws that they put in there to like secure like the brake lines and stuff like that. So, other than like the steering box and stuff like that, where it's just a hole in the frame and it just goes to like these mounting areas here. But this right here, like it's gonna hold. It's not gonna have any problems coming loose or nothing like that. So in my experience, I've been drilling for ground spots. I've been drilling like the frame on a lot of vehicles, so it works fine. So another thing, you could use a self-tapping screw. Pretty much anything that that's gonna secure the wire for ground. So that's pretty much all you need. Alright, so I pretty much got this thing marked up. It's a little tricky to see from right here, but I'll show it up close in a little bit. Pretty much got that marked up where I want to cut it at. So I'll show you guys how I cut my wire, and then what I'm using to crimp it. So pretty much what I've been using to crimp is those crimping pliers right there. So that set is from iSwiss. I think that's how you say that name. But pretty much iWis, or what? Yeah, I think that iWis. So that's pretty much it right there. Maybe a little tricky to see. I'm not sure my camera actually zooming in on that, but it came with a set with these nice little cutting pliers right here. So these are real sharp up in there, so you don't want to stick nothing like your hand and nothing off in there, because it'll make it disappear probably. But that's real sharp. It's good for getting the insulation off the wires. And this right here is a pretty decent crimper. I haven't had any bad luck out of it. It's just that you got to put a lot of effort into it to get something to crimp down, especially on the bigger wire. So versus using something like that, I went on and invested in a hydraulic crimper. So I pretty much got this on Amazon. I took a chance, bought it on Amazon. I was also looking at maybe the one that Harbor Freight had, and just a few places online. So I'm not really crimping a whole lot of stuff, but when I do, it kind of be nice to have something that's easy. So it's my first time trying this out. It's made by these people here. I think that's Amzinc. It's kind of crazy because it's AMZCNC. Or I guess it's trying to say Amaze Can. I don't know. If somebody knows what that is, they can tell me. But so this is it right here. This will be my first time using this kit. But they give you a very similar set of pliers to these right here. And you got a few instructions there. And they even give you some gloves. But so this is it right here. This is what it looks like. And it's got different dies in there. It's supposed to be able to do like that little deck, the little thin deck. I think it's like 8-inch cable, so it can crimp anywhere from anything that small up to like 0 gauge. So this right here is 0 gauge wire. So we're gonna test this baby out to see how it does. So the cool thing about this, you're supposed to be able to use one hand, maybe position this, and you should be able to use one hand and get a wire crimp down versus having to push down with 2 hands. So I think this is an 8-ton crimper, I believe. That's what it's classified as. So I'll check that out, see how it works. All right, so before I get into crimping that wire, what I'm gonna do is this is that recoil kit that I talked about earlier. But the nice thing about this kit is they give you like 4 feet of ground wire, so you pretty much run this wherever you need to run it. I mean, it could be like some guys that maybe need longer amp wire for running an amp on the sound system. It may be good for that too, because they actually you get most amp wire, they give you like 3 feet, but this right here is 4 feet. But I won't need all of that there, so I'm gonna be cutting it off pretty much like right here. So what I did, I kind of went over there and measured kind of what I need, but it needs to coil a little bit, and I always make sure I got a little extra, because you know what I'm saying, just in case you need to move it around for different components and stuff like that, on something like that. So you never know what other stuff that they plan on installing, or where exactly they're gonna put some of the AC stuff or whatever. But there's plenty of room up under there. So basically, it's a little bit kind of tricky to see, but I made a few marks. So I got some straight marks like dashes. So I want that. Basically, that's how I want this facing. So I'm gonna line that up straight, so this part is sitting flat with what it does. All right, so pretty much where I want to cut the insulation loose at, what I normally do, I'm gonna go to that first line, because you gotta have. So pretty much I got the first line, which is, because if I cut this right here, then I gotta shave it back here to pull the insulation off. So pretty much like when you measure your wire, once you figure out where it's at, because you gotta allow some to go in this this area right here. So that's pretty much gonna sit about like right there. So I pretty much that's it. That's kind of the good thing about having a nice little marker, so you can mark it up. So I pretty much come in here on that first thing. Like, I'm not trying to cut this area. I'm not trying to cut that. I'm just pretty much just trying to break the insulation loose. So I normally do it like that a few times. So I'll do that back and forth a little bit, just enough to break it. And sometimes you may not get all of it, but you'll get close. But you can always use a razor blade or something like that to get the remaining of it. And then from there, what I'll do on my other line that I got, make sure I get it straight, make sure I get it right on there. So on the other area, like right there, so pretty much that's what you want. That's your that's kind of where you make your kind of like your soft cut. You're not gonna cut all the way through the wire, but just kind of right there. And then I'm gonna cut these. I'm gonna push down on it. So it's 0 gauge wire, so it's a little bit, you know, you got to put a little bit of force to it to be able to cut that wire. But these cutters are pretty good. So, and if I wear them out, I got another set right there. So then after that, a lot of times you can just kind of slightly pull this away. So you can just slightly kind of pull it, and you'll see it kind of starting to come. And another thing I can do, like I kind of see a few spots where it's still together, I can grab a razor blade and kind of get it loose. All right, so right here I got a razor blade. So I can pretty much just take my razor blade and I can kind of go in here and just kind of just go around there a little bit. A lot of times I don't have to go around there a lot because that what I normally use is enough to get it, pull it loose. But sometimes you just gotta pull it until it separates apart. So a lot of times I don't really have to do it this much, but it's just probably just me just not getting a good. Cause sometimes you got to go around it 2 or 3 times with the actual cutter just to kind of scar it. But then this insulation is a little bit thicker, so it takes you a little bit to kind of get it off. But a lot of times you just have 1 or 2 spots that's kind of like that. It's just like you either got to pull it hard, or you can just take, you know, that razor blade, go around there, and do that, and you're good to go. And you'll end up with your wire like that. So what I need now is to get this tool set up, figure out what kind of die I need. I think I might have, oh no, I still got a few spots here. I thought I might have wiped off my, I almost did. I'm just going to remark them. That way I know me twisting the wire kind of wiped off some of the Sharpie residue. So now I still know kind of, you know, how I'm gonna position this. So my plan is to kind of position it where that right there is kind of flat. So they also give you some insulation to go on the end of the wire, like some heat shrink. So when I'm all done, I can heat shrink that down to make it look nice and neat. So in some cases you have a few strands to that may stick out, but I normally kind of twist it a little bit. Try to get as many of them in as you can. So every now and again you might have 1 or 2 because this stuff is real fine copper. If you have 1 or 2 to stick out, you can either just kind of just trim those off with a tool if you want. So there we go. So that's pretty much what I want, and I'm just going to line it up pretty much where I want it. And then from there, I'm going to get it in my crimper. Alright, so what I'm doing now is just following the instructions in the kit. So this right here says 0/1 AWG, so that's the same thing that's on this wire. So this one right here should be able to crimp this down. So the dies that's in here, I'm gonna take those out. They just pull out. Put your new ones in, or put the size in that you need. Alright, so what I'm doing now, I'm gonna slide this wire in here. Try to get everything positioned where I want it. And so there's a little valve right here that says work and reset. I'm gonna turn it down to work. Let's see here. Kind of get that thing positioned where I want it. So the other thing I want to make sure, try to get it as center as possible. So what I'm trying to do now is just trying to get it to grab onto it. So I kind of got it right there where it's snug, but the other thing, I just want to make sure that my lines is kind of lining up where I want them to be. And let's see what we got. So far, let's see, make sure that's not going to come out. But so far I can pump it with one hand, so that's very useful. But you do gotta apply some pressure, so I'm gonna use my right hand. And I want to say that's it. It's cramped down. So I'm assuming that you do it until the jaws all the way meet each other. So there we go. All right, so I would say that's a pretty nice crimp. Maybe if I didn't keep biting down on it, it wouldn't have made the little bulge out of the side. But it makes like a nice little kind of, I guess like a hexagon or an octagon shape. But that wire not going nowhere, so um, that's pretty much what you want. So I would say this is it's pretty handy because you can use one hand to get your job knocked out. So next up, when it's all said and done, you can slide your heat shrink down, and then you can just grab your heat gun. So and that's that right there. So you got a nice factory style crimp, just like the one that they've already put on here. And you got your wire cut to exactly where you want it. And I mean, it looks custom. So I say that's a pretty decent deal. So now all I gotta do is install this over in the car. All right, so the Bit 3 kit is installed. So got a new power wire and the ground wires. And I did get a chance to connect the battery and test out a few things to make sure the car is powering on and everything, because on this particular one, just did this engine swap. So just swapped out a 305 and putting this 350 in. So this is pretty much how I got things running. So that's the alternator power cable over here, and I tried to leave a little bit of room just in case, you know, the alternator gets changed or upgraded or whatever. And this is the ground wire right here going from here. So I got the ground point attached to the cylinder head. That's very similar to where it was from the factory. And then I also got another ground wire from the cylinder head going to the frame. So that's gonna help like balance out, just provide a ground from there to the chassis, so it has a more reliable ground. So if you add a sound system or something in the back and ground it to the chassis, everything will pretty much be equalized pretty good. So that's gonna wrap this video up. So thank you guys for checking out Cool Fred's Garage. We'll catch you on the next video. So tell me what you think. Peace.